Elizabeth informs Portia about Finn's drinking. Informs Portia about Finn drinking. Elizabeth tells Portia about Finn's drinking problem as Alexis warns him he's about to hit rock bottom. General Hospital. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. At the hospital, Portia runs into Liz by the elevator. Portia is headed to Willow's party and asks if she's coming. Liz says she's not in a party mood. Portia has some good news and reveals Finn's cutting his bereavement leave short and coming back tomorrow. Liz says they need to speak in private now. They go to Portia's office, and Liz says Finn is still drinking, and the situation has escalated. She has no choice but to speak out if he's coming back to see patients. She also says she ended her relationship with Finn because of his drinking. She cries that he's spiraling and could be a danger to his patients. She explains that Finn claims he was never an alcoholic, that he was a drug addict, and he can handle his drinking. However, she found him with a bottle of tequila and a woman in his apartment. She says he then lashed out in anger, and his attitude may affect his patients. She is also concerned about Violet. Liz explains that she went to check on Finn earlier, that he was clearly hungover, and that he had forgotten that he had plans with Violet. She was hoping Portia could convince him to go to rehab. Portia calls that one option. Portia assures Liz that she's here for her, and she did the right thing for the hospital and their patients. Liz just hopes she did the right thing for Finn. Gio runs into Joss, and they chat. Gio doesn't know Willow well yet but says his Aunt Lois insisted he get out and have fun. She says at least they aren't having to work. Gio notes if she and Trina move in, then they can carpool to work. Joss hasn't talked to Michael yet about the apartment, and Willow's party isn't the time. Gio's hoping they'll soon be neighbors, and they toast to it. Nina interrupts Drew as he's talking to Chasen via Q. She claims it's Crimson business. She pulls him aside and says it's time for him to do his thing. Drew walks over to Michael Willow and says Nina didn't know there was a surprise party, but she came to see him, and he was wondering if it's okay if she sticks around. Michael says it's Willow's party, so if she wants her to stay, that's fine. Cody tells Chase he's sorry to hear about his dad. Chase thanks him and says he is grateful for all the time he had with him. Sasha approaches Nina having heard Willow asked her to stay. Nina says she did, and she didn't go overboard with her reactions, and she's chalking this up to a win. Sasha says Willow has a good heart, and if she doesn't push. Nina says she's trying not to. Carly talks to Michael about Nina being here. Michael says Willow invited her, and no matter how much he wants to protect Willow, he won't try to control her life again. Carly confronts Drew, saying Michael says he went bat for Nina. He admits he did. She asks why he would do anything for that woman. He says he hasn't forgiven Nina, and never will, but he needs to let go of his anger. Plus he needs Nina. Drew explains Nina keeps Crimson making money, and she introduced him to the congressman. Carly asks what Nina gets out of this. Drew says he has asked Nina to help Willow with her new role as a spokesperson. Carly tells him not to push Willow and Nina together. Drew says he would never do that, and this is about Willow. Curtis talks to Nina and is glad she's helping him roll out the Aurora Wellness Division. Curtis asks if she is really okay working with Drew. She says they are both grown-ups and in positions to help one another. She explains they've reached an agreement, and Willow's new position gives her contact with her daughter. She says she can put up with Drew as long as Willow can put up with her. She just wants to be part of her life and has no agenda. He urges her to hang in there and reminds her that things for him and Trina were rough at first. Willow pulls Chase aside to tell him how sorry she is about his father and asks how he is doing. He says he's still dealing with his grief. She reminds him that his last day was spent celebrating his family and him, and she hugs him. She tells him he was the first man she really ever loved, and Chase says in the end, they both ended up where they were meant to be. Brooklyn thanks Carly for having Gio work at the pool this summer and gushes about his talent. Gio says his cousin can go a little overboard. After Gio walks off, Carly says she never hears about Gio's parents. Brooklyn says it's a sad story. Gio's dad died in the war, and his mom was a violinist and died when he was 10. She explains he was raised